Welcome back to Autism at Home, brought to you by us at Early Autism Project Malaysia through our non-profit initiative, The Hope Project. My name is Joshabet Isaacs and it's so nice to see you again. Welcome to the second lesson on the topic of safety. Joining me again today is Charmaine, our Head of Clinical at EAP. Great to have you here with us again, Charmaine.
Glad to be here. In part 1 of the series, we talked about why safety is so important, especially when it comes to children with autism, and some of the common areas of safety relating to them. In this lesson, we will be talking particularly about safety at home.
A home is where we spend most of our time, especially with young kids and young families. Most of their day will be at home, and so we hope for a safe and nurturing environment. However, with young children or children with autism at home, well, actually any environment, can also present with a number of safety concerns. For example, the possibility to have trips and falls, bumps and bruises, there are breakables and sharp items, burns and electric shocks, poisonous items, and choking, to just name a few. We actually have a previous series in our starter kit called Setting Up Your Home, Safety Comes First. So do check out that video as well. For this lesson, we will be looking at 3 main strategies. The first are some ideas to baby or child-proof our homes to prevent any injuries, big or small. Then we'll be discussing some ideas for simple and recommended household rules before going into systems that can be implemented at home.
So our first strategy is to baby or child-proof our home. This is in essence a preventative strategy. And remember one of our mottos, 90% of our energy on preventative strategies and only 10% on reactive strategies. So if we look at firstly the dangers of trips and falls, some key red zones would be windows, balconies, staircases, bunk beds, to name a few. To clarify, all children will fall, but we're not talking about just general running and falling. We're talking about dangerous falls that could cause serious injuries.
Yeah.
Some simple preventative strategies of child-proofing to prevent dangerous falls include, for windows and balconies, high-rise condos in Malaysia usually have grills in place, but if not, it needs to be inaccessible to children to open or climb up to as they may fall off. Balcony doors should remain locked unless with adult supervision 24/7. Alternatively, parents can also consider what they call an invisible grille to prevent the falls, or a screen around the balcony to keep it safe. Also importantly, do keep tables, chairs, and any climbable furnitures away from windows and balconies, as children may just, hop onto it and climb out. This is to prevent children from potentially climbing on them and then falling over the ledge. Staircases, be it staircases in your home or for fire escapes, this can prove to be quite the tumble for young children. We usually recommend installing baby gates in your home to prevent young children from going up and down. And of course, as they get older, teaching them to use the banister, bunk beds or double-decker beds. Based on the statistics in the US, the average number of accidents caused by children falling off bunk beds rounds up to about 36,000 annually.
Wow.
So prevention. Firstly, children under the age of 6 should not be allowed to sleep on the top of a bunk bed. And playing around bunk beds should really be discouraged unless under adult supervision. And even then, it is really advised for only one child above 6 years old to be on top of the bunk bed. Guardrails. This will help prevent accidental falls that typically occur from rolling off the edge of the mattress or bed. Having a light next to the ladder will make it easier for a child to, use the ladder safely and come up and down when it's dark. Also avoid having any items hanging from the bunk bed that could be a risk for strangulation, such as, banners, ropes, or bags, or anything long. Last but not least, in the placement of the bunk bed, avoid placing bunk beds near windows, which can be very dangerous, and also near ceiling fans or lights. Additional general safety advice to prevent falls and trips include keeping floors and carpets clear of items so children don't trip and fall easily. As parents, we know this may not always be an ideal goal to achieve. Perhaps consider having designated play areas that are safe and childproof. This would be where their toys can be lying around and it's safe. Trailing wires and cables on the floor are hazardous. So covering them with carpets or with tape can help prevent children from slipping and tripping over them. Ensure floors are dry, and in the case of slippery areas such as bathrooms, bathtubs and kitchens, anti-slip mats are highly recommended to prevent not just children but adults too from falling. This would apply to carpets and rugs, as well as to ensure they are not slippery, and to use anti-slip rugs or special rug grips underneath them. This will also improve your child's safety while they play or walk or run on your carpet. For children who are much older, consider having step stools and learning towers with reasonable height in the house for them to use independently and safely.
Well, that's certainly a long and detailed list, and just in the area of trips and falls. Now let's move on to general bumps and bruises, and some simple reminders include using bumper corners for tables and sharp edges to prevent young kids from bumping their heads and getting nasty bumps or cuts. Use door stoppers or door bumpers to prevent doors from slamming on little fingers. Use stickers on glass doors to prevent children or even young teenagers or even adults from walking right into them. Now, what about breakables and sharp items, Shami?
Well, to be fair, toddlers, children, and even young adults with autism who have a much younger developmental age can be curious and also not be able to understand the danger of these items. Therefore, it is up to us as parents, caregivers, adults really, to take all the necessary precautions.
Yeah.
Knives, forks, chopsticks, scissors, everything sharp really should be locked away in a drawer. And yes, locked with a safety latch. Glass objects like cups, glasses, plates, bowls, cups, as well as blades like the ones from blenders and food processors, they should all go into cabinets and kept way out of reach. Don't forget the items in our bathrooms too. Razors, brow shavers, nail clippers should be really locked away so that children can't reach them. Check your outdoor play area and equipment and make sure that they are not rusty, they don't have splinters and no sharp edges that could cut a young child.
Well, being a parent myself or ourselves, it can be difficult to have to keep away breakable decorative items, especially when you want your home to look really nice. But then when we weigh out the pros and cons, it definitely is more important to keep our kiddos safe. Not to mention save the cost of replacing those broken items. Now moving on to preventing burns and electrocution. Some statistics first. In 3,800 cases of burn injuries in a year among children under the age of 5 as well as seniors, the main culprit was actually hot water. So how can this be prevented? Hot water should be out of your child's reach as much as possible. If possible, actually, the kitchen should be off limits using baby gates. However, where this is not possible, do turn the handles of all the appliances on the stove inside. And using stove knob covers will help prevent children from accidentally turning the knobs on. Have childproof locks on kettles and hot water dispensers as well too. Some homes have hot water showers, and so either keep the heaters turned off at all times unless under adult supervision, or you could lock the hot water tap in some way. Additionally, the easiest way to prevent electric shocks is by using electrical outlet covers, which can easily be purchased online or even at IKEA.
We are almost at the end of our list of how to childproof the home, and another area to consider is the storage of poisonous items that children really should stay away from.
Very true.
As simple as it can be, all cleaning products are to be locked up away with latches. Toiletries should be placed out of a child's reach. All medicines, whether they are for adults or for the children themselves, are to be placed out of reach after each use and in fact after each purchase. One additional tip as well is to never transfer medicine or household items into cleaning product bottles. Keep them in their original bottles or containers to avoid confusion. And last but not least, to prevent choking, always ensure that there are nothing that can be considered edibles lying on the floor. Sometimes toddlers can consider everything to be edible, and so what might be a good routine is to routinely check your children's toys to ensure that there isn't any loose parts or broken parts that they might accidentally ingest. Throw these pieces away to reduce chances for choking.
Just a disclaimer that this is just a summary, but there may be many, many more. Do share with us in the comments below your own experience, or if you have heard about other safety tips that we have missed in this episode. Also, we are really listing as many things we can think of in terms of securing the home, and we're using terminology such as baby or childproofing. And you may have a teenager or a young adult on the autism spectrum, and you might be wondering, does this apply to your home? Well, our question would be what your child's developmental age is. So for example, if your child is 14 years old physically, but perhaps 4 years old developmentally, then you would still need to secure your home for a much younger child. This does not mean, though, that we are not working to teach our children to be able to learn household rules and independence, and that is where we are going to go into next. But because of the spectrum, not all individuals with autism will be able to be completely independent and safe, even in their own home, without some of these preventative measures in place.
Yes, it is important to consider your child's developmental age when putting these safety steps into place. Moving on, let's discuss our second strategy, which is teaching children household rules. Some of these rules we recommend teaching include feet on floor. This is the simplest visual aid to help children learn this rule. This can be used to teach children the rule of no climbing and no jumping on furniture. This includes no jumping on bed. Although jumping on beds can be fun, but the danger it carries definitely outweighs the fun. If your children love jumping, perhaps consider using a trampoline as an alternative. Having no-go zones in the house is one to consider, as it generally teaches children areas of the house that they don't have access to enter. For example, no playing on the balcony, and a no balcony sign can be placed by the balcony door for children to refer to in the event the balcony door might be accidentally left open. This also includes teaching your children about the items that they absolutely cannot touch. Maybe having no touching visuals on these items might be helpful for children to remember this rule. Communication. Now, this is a critical skill for children to learn. Regardless of their verbal ability, all children have the right to be able to communicate and need to learn how to communicate their needs appropriately. Most importantly, we want children to be able to ask for help if they want to go somewhere or if they need to get something, to be able to use their words. Your children's friends should also learn your household rules and be sure to check in on them to ensure that they're also following the rules at the end of the day.
You may also find these downloadables on our website and use them straight away. Finally, let's talk about the systems to implement at home. These would be simple practices done daily to just help prevent injuries at home, and while we're at it, children can also learn some other new skills. Always clean up toys after playing. Raise your hand if you've accidentally stepped on something and felt some pain. And then when you look down, you notice some tiny Lego piece. So having children keep their toys away would save all of us. To prevent our dining utensils, cups, and plates from possibly breaking into pieces, ensure that all these breakables are kept away. That would be an ideal thing to do. In any part of the house, it is important to always wipe up any water spills anywhere. On the floor, whether it's on the table, countertops, literally anywhere. Make it a habit to also lock all main entrances and immediately keep away the keys, especially with children who are likely to open the door and wander out of the home. Importantly, check that all keys, front doors, spare keys for the rooms, back doors, all keys essentially are kept out of children's reach.
Pop quiz. Sally's 10-year-old son Bob has autism and is nonverbal. He loves to go to the swimming pool in their condo. He is able to see it from their 8th floor window and has attempted climbing up on furniture to get a better look at the swimming pool, and even walked out of their home without his parents' knowledge and was found by a neighbor very close to the pool. What are some steps his parents need to do to help support him? Ensure there are grills on the windows in their condo so there's no possibility of any accident. lock the front entrance and ensure the keys are kept away and out of his reach, teach Bob to communicate when he wants to go to the pool, or all of the above? Yes, the answer is D, all of the above. Prevention is so important as this is a dangerous situation, and that would be to secure all windows as well as entrances, but equally important is to teach Bob to be able to communicate. Utilizing visuals at the front door so he learns to request for the pool rather than walk off on his own, as well as using a visual schedule to show him when he gets to go to the pool in advance. We will be covering this in a lot further detail in the next lesson on wandering.
Now it's your turn. Go through your entire home and look at all the safety practices that have been put in place and which ones are yet to be implemented. Next, check through our safety checklist. List out the safety skills that your child has yet to learn. Thank you so much for watching our lesson on safety at home. In the next lesson, we will be talking about wandering. Now, if you haven't already, do check out our free online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the corresponding articles and downloadables for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay updated. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys very soon.